Hello, everyone. My name is Brad Yasar, and I'm the CEO of Beyond Enterprises. So I wanted to come and talk to you today because in the past 6 to 8 months, I kept getting the same question. People kept asking me, what excites you these days? What's so exciting about blockchain or just the technology advances in general that you see are going to shape the future? And I think the expected question, the answer to the question is some new encryption mechanism, some new consensus mechanism, something really high-tech because everyone thinks you build technology, and that stuff is probably the most exciting. Whereas for me, the exciting stuff is more nuanced. It's more the user experience and the shifts in industries that really excite me. So I figured instead of individually answering those questions here and there, I'll do a quick presentation, share with you what really gets me excited, gets me out of bed, and then share a couple projects that I'm intimately familiar with. This is by no means an exhaustive list. These are just the projects that I'm most familiar with, and I know there are many others that are tackling similar or the same problems and doing wonderful work. So we're going to talk about future of fintech, and let's see. Quick intro to Beyond. We are an incubator, accelerator, and advisory firm. We offer both strategic and technical advice, and we follow it through with execution. So if you need anything, it's a 360 partnership model. We can take on your project, fill in the gaps, and take you to the next stage, whatever that milestone is. No project is too small or too large for us, and we work with startups as well as enterprise clients. A little bit about me, and I will skip the part about the blockchain. Most people have heard the story, got involved with Bitcoin really early, and then wanted to build technologies. I'm a technologist at heart, and started doing projects, helping, advising, and building stuff. But more importantly, I had a different education and career before blockchain, and that's banking and finance. So by trade, I studied economics and are passionate about capital formation, banking, finance, insurance, and such. So for future of decentralized finance, DeFi, and fintech insurance is not just a technological shift and revolution. The shift started when we went from paper products like checks, checkbooks, to the ATM cards, credit cards, things of that nature, and it started in the 60s. Those of us who are old enough to remember when you opened a bank account, you got a booklet, and it was handwritten in it how much money you had. Today, there's no such thing. You go to a bank, everything is digital, and it's centralized. Well, now with blockchain, that evolution that took 50 years from paper to a digital-based system where we're not holding tangible things like stock certificates and checkbooks and most of the time even paper money are becoming even more digitized and encrypted and borderless. So that's one of the changes that really excites me, and I'm going to illustrate with a couple examples. But banking is changing drastically, not with the technology change. You can still keep using the same technologies, add some distributed ledger technologies to it, and make it more efficient, more cost-effective. But it's changing as the user experience. So one example that's really exciting is, let's talk about getting a loan. Again, in the past, you wanted to buy something that you didn't have enough cash for. You went out, you actually went to a bank or someone who would give you a loan, secured your loan through collateral or because you had good credit score, and then you took that loan document. If it was a business, it was called a letter of credit. So you had your letter of credit. You went to the person who's going to sell you the goods or the services, and you said, here's my bank letter. I want to buy your product. I can afford it because my bank supports this decision and supports me financially. That was the experience that most of us had. Fast forward to today, with using blockchain, with using AI, with using big data, we eliminated that process completely. How many of you here have purchased something on Amazon or any online retailer and had a little option that said, do you want to make installment payments on this? Let's see a show of hands. How many? Good, a good portion. Whether you used it or not is irrelevant. On the back end of that process, the bank took information from your purchasing history, probably credit record, and used that information to make a credit offer to you on the fly. So we moved the process of getting the financial product from the producer of that product to a platform. This is, again, really exciting for me because now we don't have to go to a bank. You go to a car dealer and your loan application is processed, reviewed, and approved on the spot. And now using blockchain and distributed ledger, we can even do it cross-border. We can do it in a way where you don't have to be physically present because you still need to go to a car dealership to get the loan to buy the car. So it's still a location-based process. But in the very near future, you're going to be able to get a loan from a company that never interacts with you physically. You're not even in the same spot when it happens. And it's going to be through a platform or through some verified identity solution that identifies you as this individual with this credit score or credit worthiness, and you're going to be able to access these products. This is a huge shift and extremely exciting for me. The same shift is affecting other industries that are related to banking, like insurance, finance, where the product is moving from the originator to a platform. And we're working on a couple of projects that I'm going to share with you. So my first example is Equibank. I picked this because, again, I'm familiar with their process, but if you think about it, this is just a small challenger bank from the Caribbean, from Cayman Islands. And the way they compete with large institutions like your Wells Fargo's and BNP Paribas and all these international organizations is not by building more brick and mortar stores, creating more 10,000 people workforces. It's through technology. They're using blockchain, they're using big data, they're using AI, and the most innovative thing that they're doing, it's not even in a blockchain solution, is they've created APIs for all their products. So I'm able to bank with a bank in Cayman with zero physical contact with them. My KYC AML is done online. The credit scoring is done online. It's all based on my existing documents, identity and banking and financial documents. And they are able to come into my life, whereas only 20 years ago, if you had to start a new bank, you had to open locations. Like they would have to come to California, where I live, and open a branch there, and I would have to know about the existing of that branch and go there and apply in person. No more. So 2020, one of the things that's really exciting in banking that I am fascinated about is the ability to both plug into financial institutions through API calls that are available that they're opening up right now. I mean, some of the traditional banks are doing it too. This is not just unique to this bank, but that shift is incredibly important because now, again, we're decoupling physical presence from the services and the products we can get. Another example is investments. So everyone here, I'm assuming, has some crypto exposure. You either own it or you owned it in the past, you tried to buy it. But I don't think a lot of you try to invest on your own or trade crypto on your own. Why? Because it's highly challenging and difficult to actually both have a technical understanding of the asset that you're going to trade, as well as have the trading experience. Because again, there are so many steps. There are wallets to set up. There are security measures. And if you know all the technical stuff, now you need to learn how to read charts. You need to learn how to understand the market movements, whether they're cyclical or not. And this is a big challenge for 90% of the investors, from retail investors like you and I, as well as institutional investors who've never come across an asset as volatile and programmable as the crypto assets. So what we're working on is a solution called WealthUp. It's an automated trading platform. And again, there are other ones that I'm sure are doing wonderfully, but our solution is to simplify the trading process and the profits that can be gotten from this asset class to as simple as connecting your bank and then letting the bots, letting the AI do the work for you. So you don't need to learn any trading strategies, you don't need to watch the market, you don't need to stress about it because the strategy is already loaded onto it, work both in a bear market and a bull market and a sideways market. Again, this is not because it's one of the projects we incubated, but just the practicality of it is very exciting for me. This would open up crypto investments to my grandmother, you know, your parents, anyone with a retirement account that's depleting itself. This way it can grow instead of diminishing. Moving on to insurance. Another solution that that's really exciting is Nest Egg. It's a project that brings insurance and a safety net to irregular income earners, your freelancers, your single parent households, single earner households, where there's not a high level of revenue coming into the household, so the traditional insurance products, traditional savings products are not necessarily catered to them. You can still get it, but it's going to be a large chunk of your budget. Whereas with a hybrid project like Nest Egg, we are able to provide someone health insurance as well as a savings account that they can liquidate whenever an emergency happens without being penalized, without their money taken away from them. At the same time, teaching them good financial practices in their household, having life insurance, having savings, building a line of credit, which I'm sure sounds all normal and natural to everyone in this room, but a majority of people, even in the United States, don't have access to these services. I'm going to move on to something more specific to distributed ledger technology, and that's a continuous financing model. How many people here are fundraising right now? Wow, okay. We don't have a lot of startups fundraising. It's okay. So there is a move right now towards revolutionizing later stage fundraising. Not early stage when you're raising your seed or doing your IEO, ICO, whatever you want to call it. But once you have revenue and you need more capital in your business to grow faster or open up new locations or launch a new product. With this model, what blockchain allows us to do is allows us to raise money without actually giving up equity, diluting your cap table, and using your revenue stream to facilitate that transaction. And this is only possible with blockchain because if we had to manually do these calculations, it would be prohibitively expensive to just have even one project running. Whereas using blockchain, we can have hundreds of projects on the platform, fundraising based on their revenues, verified revenues, and do it all automated. Again, I get excited about this stuff because I have friends who have businesses in the revenue stage. I have companies I invested in, and every time they worry about how am I going to raise my Series A or B, what's going to happen to the cap table. Using this, they don't have to have those worries. They just need to continue earning a revenue, and this tool allows them to grow. So I want to finish the conversation and presentation by saying the change is the only constant in life, in this industry. And I think we need to change our perspectives from talking about blockchain and specific technology stacks and how they're changing to how we're changing the user experience, how we're changing people's lives. And if we can do that, I think it shifts the conversation from, oh, in 2017, IOs, were scams, or what blockchain project is successful or is not successful, to how we can positively impact lives, how we can positively change lives with what we do. So I foresee and get really excited about all the projects that are not talking about blockchain. Even the technologies that are not incorporating blockchain at the beginning, like Nest Egg, which will have a blockchain component in the second stage, but initially it's just an app that connects to your financial institution, it's secure, and it helps you have a financial product, an insurance product that you didn't have before. You didn't have access to it. So that's the exciting stuff that I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions about anything I touched on or any of the projects, we have a booth outside, and I look forward to talking to you. Thank you.